Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 163 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of August the 3rd through the 9th, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name is Ray Morgan.
And we're opening the recipe box. Can you believe it's already August?
It's like poof.
I know.
And yet at the same time, it has been slow.
Yeah. I think the whole C-19 thing, it just makes time disappear. It's just like we're all floating in the ether. But we were recording this episode of The Man Who Ate the Town in my house. We call this the less
ethers.
In the ethers.
We're in the ethers, yay!
The Less Desirable Studio South is what I used to call it, and I'm still going to call it that. We are practicing social distancing, and we're using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. Leah is on vacation this week, and deservedly so. She and Mel are doing some nature stuff like kayaking and hiking, because I know they're into that. Better them than me. I was just in Boone, and I will say that we had some good food and good brews, but Boone, to me, because I grew up in the mountains, Boone was boring. I did not find it amusing at all. Boone and Blowing Rock both seemed to me like they were bigger than the places I'm from in West Virginia, but it's like Clemens if you multiplied Clemens traffic by 3.
Ugh.
So
that's not good.
It's a small town with a shitload of people. So it's just like everything is bottlenecked and everything is stop and go, 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 stop and go. And it's, it's nice. I will say it's about 15 degrees cooler up there. And we had some really nice weather. The rain and everything that happened at night. And we were already in the hotel room and everything like that, and my sister renewed her vows, and I renewed her vows for her, but I said I was the sinister minister marrying my twisted sister.
I love it. How close to the truth was that? Yep, right on the mark.
Yeah. And when it came time for the "You May Not Kiss the Bride," I said, in other words, kiss my sister, mister. It was just Stephanie and me and them two at a campground. Well, okay, Oscar, their little pug, was there and had on my sister had found a T-shirt that had a bow tie on it. And suspenders. And he wears clothes all the time. He has pajamas. He has, it's funny. But that happened Saturday night, and we were up on this mountain, even further up than where we already were, and Stephanie and my sister both had to wrap up in blankets. Here was the first day of August, and it was, to me, it was quite comfortable, but for them, they were like wrapped up. But anyway, I'm not disparaging on Boone. I'm not putting Boone down. I think it was a pretty town, and if that's your thing, that's your thing. But
right.
I had, like I said, had really good food. We ate at a place called, what was it called? It was called Wild Craft, which one of my fellow food bloggers here in Winston, or used to be in Winston, Triad Foodies, Christy Meyer, she moved. I think she lives in Blowing Rock. So I asked her, I said, we're up here in Boone for the weekend. We're looking for recommendations. What do you suggest? And she suggested a few places, and Wildcraft was one. We had it was kind of Mexican fare, but it was American Mexican, but not the fast food Mexican like, which I'm perfectly fine with, but the like Monterey's and Monte del Rey's and those things. But this was just, it wasn't even Tex-Mex. It was just Mexican inspired American food. And I had an enchilada, and Stephanie had a tamale, and we had this warm chipotle queso. It was really, really good. And then we had the next day for lunch, we ate at a place called Vidalia. And of course, we had onion rings, because you don't eat at a place called Vidalia without having onion rings, right? And
It's a law.
yeah, and they make that with Lusty Monk. They make a fry sauce, or a fried dipping sauce that they make out of Lusty Monk mustard, and it was fantastic. And Stephanie had chicken and waffles, which was sweet potato waffles. And yeah,
interesting.
And then I had the burger of the day, which had goat cheese and things on it. So,
So that goat cheeseburger and stuff, would it have cracked the top 10?
no, but it was for several reasons. One, it was a burger of the day, so it was just a special. But it was really good because it had like this bacon onion jam on it, and because again, Vidalia. But
Right.
but it was really good. But I don't know that I would want to have it more than once. So, but yeah, we had really good food, and we went to Appalachian Mountain Brewery, and we also went to Blowing Rock Brewery, and had some good brews, and yeah, so it was a good time. Good time.
So you're not much into hitting all the little kitschy set shops and
No, I mean, again,
shopping your way through Boone.
it reminded me, I mean, traffic was like Clemens times 3, but the shops and stuff reminded me of being home in West Virginia. And I'm glad I don't live there anymore for many reasons. And Boone just reminded me of one reason why. It's meh. So
if you're going to Boone, it's not for all the stuff in Boone, it's because you're in the mountains.
right, and some people really, really like that aspect. So I'm not putting it down. If Boone is your place and your thing, absolutely go for it, and we'll be okay. I'll support you and try to find you some good places, but I don't care to go back.
Based on the pictures, you did find some good places to eat.
Oh yeah, those, and thank you to Christy Meyer for those recommendations. So.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Well, just days after Finnegan's Wake announced last week that they were adding a few hours to their weekend schedule, the governor came in and put a halt to that and any other place that was already or planning to stay open until midnight. He made an executive order that the last call is at 10:50, 7 nights a week, so that no alcohol is sold after midnight. It's actually not sold after 11. It's 11 a.m. 11 p.m. is the cutoff for alcohol sales. The reason being that some restaurants were working the system and basically becoming a bar with people packing in around each other, and preventative measures were being ignored.
What? People were rebellious?
Yeah.
What?
Can you?
Newsflash, that's never happened before.
Yeah. And this is after C-19 numbers are on the rise again. Hold on. On the rise again. So I want to be clear. I am not saying that Finnegan's was doing that. I only mentioned them because I felt bad that they were expending their hours, and immediately the new rules went into effect. Also, Governor Cooper announced that bars would stay closed for now. I have many friends in the bar industry, and there has to be something done to protect them from having to close their doors indefinitely. There are rumors going around that the North Carolina General Assembly are trying to get rid of private bars and have been doing so for years for several reasons. Some of it is the religious right folk who want to do away with drinking holes to begin with. Some of it is because bars have a bad stigma of being a rough place, which there really is no proof of whatsoever. They actually handle themselves well. It's out in the parking lots that some of these people get stupid, but that could happen anywhere. As you were seeing at Haynes Mall this weekend, there were a couple. So it's not the drinking holes. Restaurants and breweries can have tough crowds just as easily as bars can. There are other reasons behind that. I hope to have a bar owner of some sort come on and talk about this in the near future. Not next week. I think we have a guest scheduled. Leah has someone scheduled, but maybe after that I'll see if one of my bar friends, maybe Danielle, can... I was
going to say, I'd love to hear Danielle's perspective on that, because I really like the way she presents it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let her, because, this past Wednesday was the day after the governor announced that, and she had a hard time on the less desirables. I mean, I think it was the first day that she had felt defeated.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she
was getting ready to open.
Yeah, in her mind, she's like, okay, so this has an end. This has an end. Well, and add on top of that, Dr. Fauci and Birx both saying that they see no end in sight, and mostly because people aren't willing to do their part to keep it happening. Wash your hands, as we say, or wash your damn hands, and wear your mask. I mean, we've got to have
and don't wear your mask on your chin. If it doesn't cover your mouth and your nose, it's not doing any good.
Right.
I'll step off that soapbox now.
No, you keep that soapbox out. We'll probably need it again.
We might use it to hit some people.
Yeah. Well, maybe just for the soap.
Maybe. Here, put this in their mouth.
Yeah.
We'll rinse that out.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll see if she'll come on in 2 weeks. We'll see where things are. I mean, things could change. You never know. I mean, right now, there's nothing that we can predict to any accuracy.
I mean, to Danielle's point, how is it any different for her than it would be for a restaurant? She still would have to limit the number of people that could actually be inside at any given time. But I'm sure she'd be willing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why can't she open responsibly?
And the thing is, too, bars are better equipped to handle people like this. I mean, they know when people have had too much. They know they have bouncers and bodyguards and stuff like that. So restaurants are not necessarily equipped for that, and breweries either. So it's I don't know. I just think that, again, I'll go back to what I said last week, and I've said it on the Less Desirables a couple of times. I don't care if everybody's open or closed, but it needs to be everybody. Not the restaurants, but the alcohol sales. If you're going to do that, bottle shops, breweries, everything. All these bars need to either be open or closed, and stop separating the classifications.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah. All right, let's get off that.
Okay.
BLL Rotisserie Factory, one of my new fave locations, reopened its dining room this past Thursday. I meant to mention it on the podcast last week, but I totally let it slip my mind. I ate there on Thursday, and it was delicious as always. The layout was spaced perfectly for indoor dining. It was basically... Have you been to BLL before, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a really skinny room, right?
It really is.
So what they did is like a zipper effect. It's booth on the left when you go in, then spaced out in the middle is a table on the right, and then a booth on the left. Then you have a table on the right, and then a booth on the left, and a table on the right, and a booth on the left. So it's spaced. So if you put them in a straight line, it would be right up on top of each other. But these are able to do it to each side. So Simon and his folks are doing really good work over there. Plus, the food is fantastic. They've
always had just great food.
Oh yeah, and I had the chicken Stromboli, which is one of my new go-tos there. And that's that rotisserie chicken that they do so well. That's seasoned just right, and they put it in the Stromboli, and I got the 16-inch, so it was massive. So
that's a load of Stromboli there.
Yeah. So I had to bring some home. I couldn't even eat all, and I usually am not one for to-go boxes. So,
But this is worth the to-go box.
Absolutely. And watch for Simon's videos on their Facebook page. It's BLL Rotisserie Factory. Carolina's Vineyards and Hops posted on their Facebook page for the first time since December.
Wow, they're live.
Yeah, and because I've gone by there and left my business card in the door, and their Facebook page has been dormant. I didn't know what was going on. I did list them on the list of black-owned restaurants and food and beverage places, so I was hoping that they would be back. They did say that they are remaining temporarily closed. However, they are offering website sales, including new pickup and limited delivery options. For more information on that, visit cvandh.com. So I hope that because they have a beautiful location down in the Gateway area, right there off that traffic circle, just past Old Salem. So I really hope that they can get everything going back up and going. So, Winston-Salem historian Fam Brownlee, who also is a fan of Murphy's Lunch, says that they will reopen on August 10th. There is no info about that on any of their social media, so take that for what it's worth. However, we know that this is one of those places that is not, it's run by older people, and social media is not their strong suit.
Not their thing.
Yeah. So we need to help them. Fam is a good guy, and I think he probably has some inside info there, because he is, like I said, if you want to know anything about this town, he is the one to ask. I'm not talking food, I'm talking history. He runs the North Carolina room at the public library in Winston. He has taught. He's the historian on record, one of them, I believe, at Salem. The other one being Mr. Starbuck. And just so they are the people that, if you have any questions, you see a building or something like, what is that building? You can ask him, and he can tell you who built it, who designed it, the where all the materials came from to build that place, and everything that's ever been in there. He is just that good at it. And
it's
also,
fun to have people with that sort of a passion that you can tap and go, all right, tell me, really, what's the backstory here?
I know, and the sad thing is, he's an older gentleman, and I don't know that there's anyone here to take his place when he's gone. So I hope that he has an apprentice or something, because we could certainly use that. Don't forget that tomorrow Pulliam's reopens after their sabbatical. They were on vacation. Grab your hot dogs, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy. Support local history right there. 1703 Restaurant, who was doing their own self-quarantine for C-19, reopens tomorrow as well. They sent me a note saying they're doing well, and they'll be back open tomorrow.
Good for them.
So, Leah, even though she was on vacation, had sent me a couple of those things because they fall under her side of the list. And
she's just that responsible.
She is. She told us she was still going to check the list. I'm thinking toward the end of the week, I'm going to tell her to stop, and I'll take care of her side. Let her have some time off. So, well, that's all I have for current happenings. Let's talk about some food holidays and history.
Let's.
It's National Watermelon Day today, the 3rd of August. I like watermelon.
How good are you at spitting the seeds out?
I used to be really, really good and accurate. I used to. Okay, this is not something I'm necessarily proud of, but I like to tell about it anyway. When the old Mr. Waffle was around on Peters Creek Parkway, it was in this little shopping center. Not when they moved to the other space, but this was part of the building. I would sit in the corner. When you go in the door, you have to imagine when you go in the door, there's right in front of you, there's kind of a counter and where the cash register is. And then to your right, there are two booths. There were two booths and then booths in the back. Well, a friend of mine, Shannon Hall, and I would go and sit in that corner booth. And I always talked about how I could spit ice cubes accurately. And they had these smaller ice cubes, I call it the cool ice cubes, the little chunky ones. And there was a a coffee can that they kept like the cleaning solutions and stuff in, but they had just poured it out, so it wasn't like I wasn't messing anything up. And it was over on this corner, and I told Shannon, I said, look, I can spit this ice cube into that, and it was under a cabinet. He says, there's no way. I said, watch. First try, bam, right into that can. He never questioned me again.
Were you really that confident, or were you just that lucky?
I really was that good at it. I used to be able to really, I never entered any watermelon seed spitting contests, but I have been known to spit a few. And I could put them a couple in my mouth and make it look like those old cartoons where they're like, but yeah. So, but it has been a long time since I've done that, mainly because I get tired of fighting with my food. I want to eat. I don't want to have to worry about am I having to spit this part out or any of that stuff. So, but I do like watermelon. I like watermelon flavored things if it's like real watermelon. There's that Jolly Rancher watermelon that I do like, but it's not really watermelon. It's just what they call a watermelon flavor. At the Vidalia restaurant this weekend, I had Wicked Weeds Summer Session, which was a watermelon sour, and it was nice. It had good watermelon flavor. I like it.
Yeah. We always had fun spitting the seeds when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Did you spit them at people?
Mostly my brother, yeah. And I never got as accurate as you were, but I got pretty good distance. I could get a good 10, 15 yards, and it was like, all right, that's pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
For a seed.
Yeah. I remember one time I did it so hard that my inner cheeks were hurting because I spit so hard. That's more than anybody wanted to know, I'm sure. But on the today, the 3rd in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed from Spain on his first voyage to what he thought were the Indies. So
that's the Indians.
Yeah, well, yeah, Indies. So this was the day he left.
Bon voyage! See you later! Have fun storming the castle, boys.
Have fun storming the castle. On the 3rd in 1921, near Troy, Ohio, John A. Macready became the first to crop dust from an airplane when he spread insecticide on the farm of Harry Carver to kill an infestation of sphinx moth caterpillars.
Thank you for clarifying that was insecticide from an airplane. I had a different connotation from crop dusting.
Not just walking by and farting, right?
Right. Not just leaving a little linger to as you run from the room.
Yeah. On the 4th of August, it's Here you go. National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Yes.
Not
I
to
just
be
happen to have some in the cabinet.
Not to be confused with just Chocolate Chip Day, which is May 15th.
Right.
talked
That's
about
different.
that.
That's
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah. It's also National White Wine Day. So have a couple of chocolate chip cookies and some white wine.
Nice
Nothing
glass
wrong
of Chardonnay.
Yeah. Or if you want to keep the sweet going, a little Gewürztraminer would be great. Yeah.
I don't know that I've had any of that.
Oh, you got to have a Gewürztraminer. It's, of course, it's German, but it's not like super sweet, but it is sweeter than like a Pinot Grigio or something like that. I like it. It's got a little tang to it. I like it.
I like it. It's good.
And on the 4th in 1693, Dom Perignon, who was a monk, discovers the process for making champagne. "Come quickly, I am tasting the stars," supposedly he said. It's a widely held legend, but really it is only a legend. He was not tasting the stars.
I'm like, some of this stuff. I'm tasting stars. I am Stardust. I can just see it now. Yeah, sir, you're snorting drunk, dude. Come on now. Put your robe back on, please. Oh, God, Dom, really?
God, Dom.
I'm tasting stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody ever ask whether he was drunk at the time? I mean, comes to mind for me.
Yeah. In 1930, on the 4th, the first King Cullen supermarket opens in Queens, New York. It is recognized by the Smithsonian Institution as the first supermarket in America. The company was founded by Michael J. Cullen. Although he spelled his with a C, King Cullen was both K's and in Queens. So there you go.
There, yeah. And not to be confused with other Cullens that may or may not exist.
Right, like the Twilight Cullens. Is that what you're talking about?
Very hush hush. Very hush hush.
Sparkle. In 1958, the first potato flake manufacturing plant opened in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I'm not
sorry. I just connected two things that shouldn't have been. It's like, oh, he tastes like stars. Okay, sorry. Exactly.
In 1970, Pillsbury registered the trademark for Poppin' Fresh, which is actually the name of the Pillsbury Doughboy. First used in 1965 for Pillsbury refrigerated dough products. So, yeah, if
I think it
anybody
took them that long to do it.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
So anybody who didn't know, the Pillsbury Doughboy, his real name is Poppin' Fresh. On that same day, Cumberland Packing registered Sweet and Low trademark, first used in 1958. So even further back, they, it's basically saccharin. So saccharin's been around since the 1800s, I believe, but they used Sweet and Low, but they didn't register it until 1970.
Yeah, never liked this stuff.
No,
Still don't.
No. In 1978, on the 4th, Molson Brewery acquired the Montreal Canadiens hockey team, and the Molson family still owns it to this day.
Impressive that they would still hold it this long.
I know. Molson Brewery's been around since the late 1700s, I believe, and they are still Molsons that run it.
One of the oldest breweries around?
Yeah. Jeff Molson. Yeah. Jeff Molson is the current president of that company, although, they're part of the Coors thing, but still, the family is still involved. In 1983, on the 4th, Dave Winfield, a New York Yankee outfielder, accidentally killed a seagull with an errant throw in a game against the Toronto Blue Jays. He was arrested and charged with cruelty to animals and had to post a $500 bond. The charges were dropped the following day.
Like, he was trying to hit the seagull?
Yeah. you
If
ever
he
see?
tried, he couldn't have done it.
You ever see Randy Johnson when he pitched that ball and hit that? It was a duck or something, or a bird that was flying through, and basically the bird exploded. He pitched, and the bird flew across his sight and
Flew into the pitch.
and the bird exploded. If you YouTube Randy Johnson bird, I'm sure you will see it.
Something to do in my off time.
Yes.
Randy Johnson bird. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it down. I'll check it out later.
In 2017, on the 4th, Bumblebee Foods pled guilty and was fined $25 million for its role in a canned tuna price-fixing conspiracy involving Bumblebee, Starkist, and Chicken of the Sea brands.
Well, conspiring to make us pay more for our tuna? That's un-American.
Not a fan of. I love tuna, like sashimi tuna. I love seared tuna. I am not a fan of what they call, quote unquote, tuna fish.
Yeah, from what I understand, the cheaper tuna isn't always tuna.
Yeah, could be mahi.
The albacore is, so that's generally what I get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's much better when it's fresh.
It just always tastes like what cat food smells like to me.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'm sure. On the 5th, it's National Oyster Day. I'm a fan. Also, it's Tutti Frutti Hat Day, and I'll explain that in a little bit.
Is that a Chiquita reference?
No.
Okay.
In 1891, in Leipzig, Germany, the Hotel Hof honored the first American Express traveler's check. So that's been going on since 1891. In 1909, on the 5th, the first corporation tax was passed by Congress.
They've been trying to get out of it since.
In 1914, the first electric traffic lights were installed in Cleveland at Euclid Avenue and East 105 Street, or 105th Street.
And they immediately ignored that and had a wreck.
Right. What is that? Look at that. It's pretty light.
Well, I understand the very first two vehicles in North Carolina hit each other. I don't know whether that's legend or rumor or true fact, but I have been told by a couple folks that, yeah, the very first two vehicles in the state actually ran into each other in Raleigh.
Wow.
Kind of sad.
So in 1955, on the 5th, Carmen Miranda died. She was a Brazilian singer and actress. She appeared in many Hollywood movies and was known as the Brazilian Bombshell and also the lady in the Tutti Frutti hat. So that's why it was that. Also on the 5th, 7 years later, Marilyn Monroe died. American actress. She was crowned Artichoke Queen of 1947 in Castroville, California.
Of her many accomplishments, the one she's most proud of is the Artichoke Queen. Yeah. Yeah, that was an amazing day. It was a lot of hard work and dedication it took to become Queen of the Artichokes. I mean,
Cinderella story. On the 6th, it's National Root Beer Float Day.
yes.
Frank
We should
J.
have one today just in preparation.
You did have one?
We should.
Oh, yeah, we should. Frank J. Wisner, owner of Cripple Creek Brewing in Colorado and manufacturer of Myers Avenue Red Root Beer, is said to have invented the Black Cow Root Beer Float in 1893. So the song from Steely Dan, Black Cow, is talking about a root beer float. Although I'm sure
I did not realize that.
Yes, I'm pretty sure because they were talking about being high that it was munchie time for them. It's also on the 6th is India Pale Ale Day, IPA Day. Beer enthusiasts, breweries, and bars around the world celebrate IPA Day, a toast to one of the craft beer's most iconic styles. we've said before, it's not our favorite, but I don't mind it. I just prefer not to have that if I have other things to choose from.
Exactly.
On the 6th in 1867, Sheldon Everett of Ansonia, Connecticut, received a patent for a tea kettle.
Wow.
I'm sure they were using them before then. He just got a patent for his particular one. In 1896, Freckles Sugar Company was incorporated in Salinas, California. They made beet sugar. On the 7th, it's National Raspberries and Cream Day.
Oh, that sounds good.
And to follow up IPA Day on the 6th for people who don't drink IPAs, it's International Beer Day on the 7th.
Yes, whatever kind of beer you want, there's your day.
That's right. And that could be any day. In 1794, on the 7th, the Whiskey Rebellion news, protesting the 1791 federal tax on distilled spirits, a large gathering of rebels in western Pennsylvania burned the regional tax inspector's home. President Washington ordered 13,000 troops to the area, but opposition had already disappeared. Well, we did our job.
They burned the guy's house down.
Yeah. In 1888, on the 7th, Theophilus Van Cannel of Philadelphia received a patent for the revolving door. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy signed a bill authorizing the establishment of Cape Cod National Seashore to protect.
Never been there. Have you been there?
I have not. I've only been to Massachusetts once, and that was just Boston. Boston and Harvard. So, Harvard. It was wicked. On the 8th, it's National Frozen Custard Day, so go to Wolfie's and get some.
Or if you're in Mount Airy, Wits.
That's right. Wits is a good place too. It's also on the 8th.
This weekend and bought several pints. It's like, we've got an addiction to their custard.
Has she gotten a picture of her holding those?
No.
She needs to. She needs to get one. It's also on the 8th, National Zucchini Day, and sneak some zucchini on your neighbor's porch night.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Okay. I would rather you sneak zucchini on my porch than a bag full of poop.
Yeah, flaming bag of poop. Actually, just last night, some of our parishioners showed up last night with this big old box of squash, zucchini, and cucumbers. And now we have this massive load of vegetables. So we will be making pickles and we will be eating squash and zucchini this evening.
Well, sneak some onto your neighbor's porch on the 8th. Wait till the 8th.
That's not like throwing it at their porch as you drive by either. That's actually walking up and placing it on the porch. Right,
absolutely. On the 8th in 1899, Albert T. Marshall of Brockton, Massachusetts, received a patent for a refrigerator, an automatic refrigerating apparatus. It used anhydrous ammonia as a refrigerating medium. I think I will pass on that.
But glad he made the refrigerator. Glad we figured out how to do it better.
Yeah. Yes. In 1905, Pillsbury Washburn Flour Mills Company registered Pillsbury's Best trademark for flour, first used in 1873. So that's even farther back. But then, people weren't doing that so much. So, whatever. In 2006, Krispy Kreme Donuts opened its first Asian outlet in Hong Kong. And now they have a lot in Asia. On the 9th, it's National Rice Pudding Day. No.
Yum.
You like rice pudding?
I like rice pudding.
I don't know that I've had it enough to want it or not want it. So
with the raisins and the cinnamon and Yeah,
I'm not too sure on that. In 1842, the Webster-Ashburton Treaty was signed, ending the bloodless Pork and Beans War.
Pork and beans?
Yes. that actually just happened from 1838 to 1839, but they didn't get together for the treaty until 1842. A dispute over the boundary between the British colony of New Brunswick and the United States, Maine, along the St. Croix River, or St. Croix River if you're French.
This is where Brunswick stew came from. You can't have this area. It's ours.
Well, you can get our pork and beans.
Fakey beans, fakey beans.
Oh, yeah.
Break them veins! Break them veins!
On the 9th in 1982, Diet Coke was introduced.
Ugh. My wife loves it. Yeah.
If I was having any of that, I would rather have Tab.
Tab. Wow, that takes me back.
And they still make Tab.
I know.
And
it's
my
weird.
shirt color would match my Tab can if I have one.
Just get the stripe.
That's right.
Yeah, I've never been a fond of any of the diets. Just give me sugar. It's like we were saying about sweet and light. Just give me sugar.
Yeah. I did Diet Mountain Dew for a little bit. But I really liked Tab. And then I did Diet Right for a year or two, actually. Yeah, that was actually
The really good stuff.
Yeah, Diet Right, yeah. Well, anyway, that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, want some Gewürztraminer or other sweet wine with our chocolate chip cookies, and have a longer than usual conversation about what the monks were doing in 1693.
It tastes like stars.
Well, we the Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to Less Desirables, The Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax, Vinyl and More, Sipping NC, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links to each one there as well. And we greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors, like the one that I ate at yesterday. That would be Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. We were on our way back from Boone, and we decided to just head on out, and we'd stop somewhere in Winston. And that's where we went. And I had the
Great
Johnny.
choice.
I had the Johnny, which is basically the filet with the chicken brine, and Stephanie had. What did she have?
Something good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they brought back the sausage and lentil soup because they've only been doing the chicken because of just the hard to order everything when sales are down, but sales are starting to pick up a little bit, so they brought that back. Stephanie had the chicken soup with hers, and I had the sausage and lentils.
Both soups are just so good.
Oh yeah, can't wait to bring the minestrone back too. This is no chain, Carrabba's. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. It's in their charter. And for us, having a fantastic franchisee like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on Carrabba's.com. Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk. A chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, local fruits and veggies, meat and dairy from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's custard, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk, or at WashingtonPerk_DTWS on Instagram. The Humblebee Shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You've not had good until you've tasted the treats and goodies that Brittany is whipping up in her shop, be it muffins, cakes, macarons, and more. Many of those things vegan and gluten-free as well. The Humblebee Shop wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit thehumblebeeshopapa.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
This is a reminder to all the listeners, and are just good practice, not just for now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds or more. Sing, the intro to Fly Me to the Moon from, I can't think of his name.
Would that be Frank Sinatra?
No.
Or Tony Bennett?
Tony Bennett, yep.
Tony Bennett, yeah.
I totally blanked on that. You could sit and forget that, and by the time you figure it out, you'll have 20 seconds pass with your hands, and you can just
probably so.
Finish
yeah,
that.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Well, keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send an email to Tim or Ray or Leah at themanwhoatetown.com. You will also be able to contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are manwho8thetown. On Instagram, we are manwho8thetown. And now, we invite you to call and leave a voicemail for the podcast. Actually, any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422-NUM. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM or 6862. Well, I think that's all we got. We actually got through a fast one today.
We did.
It was a slow
while
week.
You were talking?
Yeah.
I checked out the bird video, Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
Y'all think if you hadn't seen it,
it explodes.
Dang!
Well, he was known for his fast pitch anyway. So that thing had to be going.
That's going somewhere between 95 and 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And the bird's probably going at least 60.
Yeah.
So,
boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just wrong place at the wrong time. That bird had a bad day.
A very bad day. And then you just see the little feathers floating down to the ground. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we're closing the recipe box. Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit. Yamas. The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.